Hello there. I just want to, a little unusually, but a little bit of whistleblowing on one particular minor issue with regard to the police elections, but I think it's an important one, and so I think needs mentioning. With regard to election expenses, I note. Actually, it was one of the candidates at the last police elections that checked into this. I'm talking here about John Smith, who looked into this matter and gave me these figures. I note that one of the political parties in Devon and Cornwall asked the Electoral Commission to suppress the electoral expenses of the candidates at the last election. In other words, not to allow them beyond, there's a statutory period in which they have to be available for public inspection, but beyond that period then to not put them up publicly on any website or anything of this kind. Now, I'm not going to name the political party concerned. You can work it out for yourself. But I do think it's wrong that the Electoral Commission agreed to this and behaved in this manner. It's completely inappropriate in a democracy. So I will just read out the election expenses of the candidates in the last election. By the way, some of you may note that I'm doing these comparatively expensive videos. They will be costed in my election expenses, but in fact, they're being given to me. I'm very grateful so they are no personal cost to myself. That's, I guess, neither here nor there. But anyway, I do think it's important. I do think it's important that we have transparency. So I will give you the data that has been suppressed by the Electoral Commission. I'll just let you know the election expenses of the 10 candidates in the last police commissioner elections. So, where are we? At the bottom of the list is John Smith, who is independent candidate. He spent £883 on the elections last time around for Police and Crime Commissioner. Then next one up is Brian Blake, who stood for the Liberal Democrat Party. He spent, and his political party, the Liberal Democrats, spent £2,552. The next highest spend was by Ivan Jordan, independent candidate. He comes from Exeter. He spent £2,398. The next highest spend was by Graham Calderwood, independent candidate from Penzance. Good man, but he lost his deposit. A very good man, actually. But anyway, he spent £3,878. The next highest spend was by the Labour Party. Their candidate, Plymouth girl Nikki Williams, spent £4,399. The next highest spend was by Tam McPherson, another good candidate, I thought, but there was a lot of controversy about his standing. He was a Plymouth guy. He spent £5,997. He's a interesting man, but anyway. The next highest spend was by myself, actually. I will say that in my defence, a lot of this was notional in my case. I didn't actually find £6,000 personally, but there you go. Next highest spend was by William Morris, myself, independent, £6,524. And the next highest spend was by the UK Independence Party, UKIP. Bob Smith spent £6,787. Okay, now we come to the bigger spenders. The next highest spend was by Brian Greenslade, who stood, he was a Liberal councillor who decided to call himself an independent, whatever, anyway. Brian Greenslade spent £12,252. Okay. And then we come to the highest spend of all. And it bothers me that these figures are suppressed. The highest spend of all is by Tony Hogg, Conservative Party, and of course the victor in the election, and he spent £26,292 on his election. So I just feel that you should know that. I think it is important that information of this kind is not suppressed by the Electoral Commission. I do think that it is very wrong indeed, and I think that our press should be asking questions of the Electoral Commission. Electoral Commission are there to look out for elections and to see that they're conducted with probity. And how can that be done if they accede to a request by one of the political parties that elections expenses, details of election expenses, are suppressed? I really think this is a very disturbing issue, and I think one that needs taking further. So that's why I just decided to raise it at this point. Thank you.